What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Artist Coaching Podcast. How are you guys
Hey.
doing?
Good.
We are very hot.
Me too, but you have air conditioning.
I'm just turning it on because I said to myself, I'm very hot, but I meant in the other way, man.
Yeah, you are very hot. But then you just
That's true.
realized, well, I have air conditioning. Why am I doing this?
You're
Why
almost as
am I
hot as
doing this?
the one DJ who just takes his shirt off and then stands on stage with
Levi.
zero aura. I don't know his name, but
Levi?
DJ
Something like that.
Levi.
Yeah.
So you say zero aura. Let's make this a clip for on TikTok and Instagram.
yeah. Be instant
Oh,
beef. No, like
elaborate,
it's
please, Jay Hardway.
he gets a lot of shit for like that he doesn't really do anything but take his shirt off. I mean, but then everybody's talking about it, so he's doing something right. But I just think like yeah, he doesn't have it. He doesn't have to like. If you see Stevie Aoki without shirt, it's not nearly as many muscles, but it looks like it's supposed to be. He is that punk rock guy who takes his shirt off, but this Levi guy is just doesn't have it. He doesn't have it.
He is popular though.
Yeah, very. Yeah.
Very popular, especially
I
on
mean,
TikTok.
there's people who get in it because they're grinding on music. I mean, Stevie Aoki also throws cake. Doesn't have to do anything. It's all entertainment, right?
Entertainment,
And
yeah. Exactly.
yeah, it's all good in the hood.
I mean,
Exactly.
no
But
hate,
yeah, it's not
but
something
just
I'm looking at. Also, it's not my cup of tea. But yeah, he does work out a lot because the Levi guy looks great.
you gotta respect the body.
It's a
That's
man
for
crush.
sure.
Gotta respect the body.
Yeah.
Hey guys, the live chat is filling with people. We have Mikey Foden, Bit3, Josh Letitia, Jaco, Lion Harris, Kushagra, Gerard Francis. What's
What
up,
is that
everybody?
crown next to their name?
I think it's how fast they were in the chat. Number 1, number 2,
Huh.
number 3.
Why is Josh not?
I
Is he not
think.
number 3?
Let me click on it. What does it say? Oh yeah, biggest fans. Kushagra is number
Hey,
1.
let's go.
Jaco is number 2. Mikey Foden is number 3.
Oh, it's just how much you comment. Let's go, guys.
It's about XPs. I don't know how you can earn XPs, but hey, here we go. Yeah. Anyway,
Also the grind.
exactly.
What's new, guys? Ralph, what's new?
We have some
What's
topics
new?
Oh,
something.
sorry. I have the whole agenda by Joey. I was
Oh.
in my head like the olden days, like we didn't prepare, but nowadays Joey prepares.
There is a
Oh,
small
I actually
preparation.
came prepared because I have some coffee.
Hey!
Coffee. I skipped the coffee. I'm already too
Like-
hot.
Nice. No, but
Anyway.
Joey, our mentor in these dark days, proceed.
Now we'll continue, but I just wanted to let you know that we're going to talk about Armin's 51 track album today. The no phone policy, because you mentioned it a few times ago, Ralph, that you wanted to talk about that, the no phone policy.
Well, I think it's an interesting topic. Yeah.
But do you mean from the club end or from the artist end?
I think from everywhere, from the public to the clubs to the artists. I mean, it's kind of a love-hate relationship with the phone. I mean, we all want to be in the moment and don't care about showing off or recording or just dance. Dance it until there's no tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, when we see all the cool shows, I'm one of the first to grab my phone and record that shit because it's just cool to share. And I think that's kind of a love-hate relationship. And I think it's worth discussing. And it's
Maybe there's
also really actual.
maybe there's two different types of parties these days. As in, you have the entertainment parties, the shows where it's more about entertainment, and you have the parties where it's more about the music. And I think I kind of feel like there's a separation going on where it used to be just one.
definitely, if you see the production values of a lot of shows, man, they are like ridiculous. I don't know. Do we have a clip of the week with
Yeah.
David Guetta? Okay, yeah.
No,
Okay, maybe
not
we
with Gedda.
just
Not
oh,
with
not
Gedda,
with
but
Guetta. Okay,
do you wanna
because
show
he
it?
was the one that talked about like people don't dance anymore, and he's right. At a lot of shows, I think also at the big shows where he also plays, I saw a clip of his Ushuaia show, and it was like the coolest shit. They had somebody hanging off balloons in Ushuaia, and the person did tricks. It looks amazing. But on the other hand, I don't dance when I see that shit. I'm gonna film it or
Yeah.
just watch it. I mean, it's a a different type of entertainment, and maybe the discussion needs to be that okay, how much entertainment do we want to have at the show, or do we want it to be about dancing and music, and maybe scale down the production value of the shows? Because yeah, you can blame people that they're then just going to be in awe
Yeah.
and look at all the stuff that's happening. uh because yeah, like I said before, the production value is like over the charts. It's really insane.
But I
And
think you should ask yourself the question as an artist, maybe, as in, what type of show are you presenting? Do you want to be more on the
definitely,
entertaining side of things, or do you want to be the guy where people come for the music? Because
yeah,
that
and you can
depends on how.
also maybe say that if we want as a community want to have a lot more no phone policies, because that's also becoming a common thing in the Dutch festival landscape now. It's more the underground landscape, to be honest. Maybe there's the bigger DJs, or maybe even just us. I mean, we also have some responsibility in here, although it's a little bit less than the big ones, let's be honest. But do the no phone policy, maybe. That could
Yeah.
also be like sending a signal like, hey,
Yeah,
let's dance all together and not be on our phones.
I think you will then get a crowd that's like up for that, and you will not get the people that are not up for that. And I think a lot of people do want to not per se dance, but just film and like express themselves online. Like, hey, this is what I like, and this is what I do in my weekend. And I
Hmm.
think that's just a new type of crowd. Maybe that's more mainstream crowd, but that wasn't there when it was just raves, because they were like, I'm not gonna rave in the sweaty parts of the dark holes of the festival.
Totally
But they
true.
are like,
Totally
hey man,
true.
this is, I like that stuff. I like to look at it, and I like to film it, and I like to show it, and that's brings in more crowd. And I think, yeah, you have to make a conscious choice, mostly as a festival, though. I think as an artist, I think you don't have that much control of who your crowd is.
Well, I think you do. You can choose the venues. You can choose the production. You
Yeah,
can.
at a certain
There is a
level, at a certain
choice.
level. Like I think, like you
Yeah.
said before, at a certain level, you have the means. Like you do a hard ticket show, so you sell tickets for you as headliner. Then you have the control. But like for me, I'm playing at a club in China or something. I don't really have control over. Hey, I don't want you to have phones. So it's gonna be different, and I'm gonna have to kind of
Yeah.
roll with the shows you can do. But for the
Mhm.
bigger artists, I think it's a very interesting um, thing. And I think
Jake.
Because on the other hand, it's one of the most efficient ways of
yeah,
marketing.
Yeah,
yeah,
it
yeah.
People
is true.
filming your show and sharing it
Yeah.
online.
This sounds dumb, but like I'm not that like I'm trying to be less online, and that's why I saw like, oh, Martin Garrix is doing the LA show last week, 3 nights solo show, or like yeah, like
Looked
at this
great.
venue. But like it's like I see it through TikTok, and I see it through Instagram, and I wouldn't have known if they had a no phone policy. And now I'm like, hey, that's cool, man. Next year, I wanna. Where's my invite? You know. So it's like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
It,
yeah.
it
Yeah,
triggers you to be like, oh, I want to see it. I want to go there. So it
it's a
definitely
double-edged
helps.
sword. It's a double-edged sword, I think. But Jaco in the chat also mentioned that he went to a Martin Garrix show, and he said, to be honest, it was very bad because most people were filming and not enjoying the music. Garrix tried to hype up the people, but it didn't work. And I think that's what happens when you get big. You tend to attract a different audience because now people come in who don't really know about your music but just know the name, and you lose the core audience, and a lot of like mainstream audience is coming in now. So I think once you get bigger as an artist, it becomes harder and harder to kind of keep those people out, or if you even want those people to stay out, because eventually I think you want as many fans as possible. So it's a very
I think
double-edged sword.
yeah, I think people always ask me like, why didn't you make it to the top 10 of DJ Mag? And it's because of that reason.
You kept them out.
I
Fuck them.
stopped. I was like, nah, nah, nah. I don't want
Yeah.
that crowd, man. I want only the real
Yeah.
ones. So I'm gonna go smaller. No, I'm obviously joking, but I think that's why
But
I like to think of it that for that kind of thing, you can't really control how big it gets and how out of hand. Like Martin Garrix's story is like from his attic to world fame. You can't even imagine how many people know his name. That's not something you really can control. So it's like you kind of have to roll with the crowd you get then also, and then to exclude people, that's a bit where yeah, it becomes indeed a double-edged sword because also you don't want to exclude people just because they don't want to dance,
Yeah,
which sounds weird,
exactly.
but yeah,
You could build it more into your brand, as in be more loud about the no phone thing and
just
stand.
stop the music every time you see a phone. Put that phone
Yeah.
away.
No, but you could be more vocalist, or you could be more vocal about focusing on dancing, and like I think if you are more vocal on that topic, you will attract people who agree with that. So I think being more vocal about it online will also help you to attract people who are like-minded.
Yeah. I think it's
true.
also
That's what I think.
like a maybe generation thing even where just younger
True.
kids just express themselves way more through social media than like I never have really the like what Ralph has a little bit where I'm like I see a cool show, I just want to see it. I don't and then afterwards I'm like, "Oh, would have been cool to show my daughter or something a video, but I didn't take a video because and that's
Mm.
just because I didn't grow up with a phone or just it's not in me, to do that. But I think
Yeah.
the younger generation has that a bit more because they just had a phone from when they were 12 or something.
Yeah. You know what I do like about more of the hard techno events? They have more production value going into the room, which is pretty cool. It's not just
Mm.
the podium that's like where it happens, but it's also actually the podiums look kind of more sober. And
Like
you have the people
fireworks.
on there, they do the 360. And then oh, they also have the fireworks, which is insane. But they have
Mm.
also more the all the moving heads and all the lighting that goes a lot of lasers that go throughout the room. I think that also creates a more of a total package. Not that you look at one screen, but
Yeah.
there's
Yeah,
more going on around you. It's like well, like having a theater that goes around you. Yeah, you have to look around then more instead of
That's like the
always be
full
focused on the
experience.
same point. Yeah, and I think they actually it's kind of genius what they
it
do
is.
and how they operate because those are the events people dance like crazy. I mean, they
Yeah.
also film, but there's not the main focus is on dancing and going crazy. And I see a lot more like niches where like dancing is off the charts. It's like insane. And if I see that, I saw the Paradise City Festival that was just this weekend. People just go nuts, and
Mm.
so it's still possible, but maybe yeah, we have to like think differently about how a show is presented and also yeah where to aim with the production value because or yeah maybe tone it down and do it a little bit differently if you
Yeah.
want people to dance. I
True.
mean, to be honest myself, I'm totally fine. Put me at a Geta show at Ushuaia because it it's something that's not that you don't see on a regular basis. It's really cool,
Yeah.
but I don't
True.
dance.
Let's quickly talk about the new album of Armin. He just released a 51 track album called
Crazy.
Breathe. Yeah,
Well,
that's insane.
to be honest, I haven't heard it yet.
I
I
saw
just went. I just went through it, and it's a combination of already existing tracks. So there's a few of his hits on
Okay.
it, and a lot of new stuff, but a lot of big names, to be honest. Like Moby is on it. What's that guy like Hartwell? There's a lot of big names on it where he collabs with.
Did you
Uh,
just say what's that guy called? Oh,
no, I was
Hartwell.
thinking about
Oh,
somebody else. I can't come up with this. What's the guy from? What was he? Prodigy? No,
I see Gedda.
insane producer. Anyway,
And the A is in the middle, eh? That's what I saw about it. I saw a video. The A is in the middle of the
the
word
A is in the middle.
breathe. With all his albums, it's like the A is in the middle,
Oh wow.
middle letter
Oh,
Okay,
of every word, and it's
but I
he
liked.
says it's by accident, so that's half
I I
likely.
kind of liked how he. I'm not sure if you marketed it that way, but the story behind the album is that it's more built around his journey as a person and as an artist, because he's more focusing on mental health at this point and like being more in balance and like finding happiness. And he says that being completely balanced put him in a position to be so creative to make that many tracks. So I like the angle that he's taking with it. I was just wondering what your take is on releasing 51 tracks. Is it smart or is it dumb?
I don't know exactly. I don't really get it because you say, and I see it also here. There's like tracks that are really old from him.
Yeah,
So it's like I'm a bit confused whether to what is new. Also, yeah, it always in dance music when there's an album, it's for me always a little bit like I don't know. It's really hard to listen to all tracks for some reason. It doesn't have my attention span. It's not like you really dance music is just yeah for me really to be danced on, especially like the music Armin makes. Um, it's a lot of music. Yeah, I just don't really know if albums are the way to go. That's my that's not really an opinion, but that is it.
okay. What about you, Ralph?
yeah. To be honest, I like it. It's cool. Like the. I mean, album nowadays makes a lot less sense than it used to do because yeah, obviously Spotify is the biggest platform where you can consume music, and when you do an album, you can only pick one focus track that gets the release radar. And how it works is that one then gets the release radar and gets the when you click, for instance, the radio button, then it gets pushed on, and when you play Armin blah 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 and then radio, then you get sort like tracks. And tracks that get the release radar are pushed in those kind of algorithmic uh, playlists and things. So let's say you do an album with 11 new tracks and one is the single, then only one will get the push of Spotify and the rest, the 10, will just, yeah, nobody will hear them, probably.
Yeah,
So what nowadays is the case that if you do an album, usually it consists of tracks that are already out, and then you plunk a few new ones in there that are basically B choices, to be honest, on the release day. But it's like really the minority of the tracks that are on the album. But and it used to be way different. There was a new album, and then you would present the singles. So that's
yeah,
the main reverse thing. But it's a cool way of saying something and
mm,
give some extra depth to your tracks and your journey as an artist, as you as an artist. It's a marketing tool
Yeah,
basically, and that's pretty cool. And I think also he took it to say something important, and that makes it actually pretty cool. And
yeah.
that's my cup of tea,
Okay.
or that's
yeah.
what I think about it. Yeah,
I also realized it's a great way to do a tour for a year that and you call that the album tour or the breathe tour. And that
Mm-hmm.
also
exactly.
gives it more story for the shows you go to or like the fans that like, hey, the album tour, it's the new album, so it's gonna be the new music. So it's the latest show. You're sure that that's a really good thing about it
It's
as
a
well.
way of emphasizing something that's important for you as an artist that you want people to know. It's another way to express something.
Yeah.
And I think if what he tries to tell is something that speaks to me, and it does, then I actually really like it, and is for me an incentive to listen more to Armin, which I'm gonna
Also, we've talked about Levi and his amazing body before, but what about Armin's? Have you seen that?
dude.
Dude, he's on the front of the
Yeah,
men's
Men's
health.
Health.
Men's Health
Yeah.
But like
with his
this is
wife, which
it's
I also really like.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's all.
amazing. But
Yeah.
like that's people don't realize that takes dedication also
That.
next to his career, his kids,
Yeah. That
and
is
that's
discipline.
whew,
Like building a body like
pure
that.
discipline. Pure discipline.
Discipline.
To be
Yeah.
honest, that takes a lot of discipline, but also, and I gained some weight last year and worked out pretty much. It's also actually something that, compared to making music and making it as an artist, is relatively simple because you know if you put in the effort and you eat accordingly,
Yeah.
then you will
Yeah.
grow
It's
in muscle or
It's
whatever you try to
consistency.
reach.
you don't have to think much about
No,
oh
and
you
in that
yeah.
respect, I actually really liked doing it, and I actually thought it was way less frustrating and way more easy as making music and
Yeah,
trying to
I
get
see what you
support or
mean.
making it as an artist because that's just like so intangible.
I think for a lot of people the discipline is still very hard, but
Yeah,
the workout itself and the eating is just you don't have to think. You can just
Yeah. It's
very blindly go to the gym, do your list. You don't have to really think about it. Anybody can do a
no,
squat. You don't have to have the highest weight. It's not per se about weight. So that yeah.
depends on what your goal is,
Yeah,
but
of course,
yeah,
but it's like if you train and you get stronger and then you can build up accordingly, but you don't have to think that much. And I
no.
think with
I
music it's
actually,
way more
it's
of a tactical
one of the few
approach.
moments I really listen to sets, and that's why I
Mm.
like working out so much. I always go around 50 minutes an hour, and it's actually so good. And sometimes we are discussing an artist here within the team, and then I'm triggered. Okay, now I want to know the artist and see what they're really doing. Then I put on a set,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
it's like this. For me, it's a moment where I can really learn another artist's
Yeah,
tricks and
I like
things.
that. I like that too.
Yeah.
It's I have it with on Spotify like radio, and sometimes I listen to podcasts. But when I listen to music, you don't have to think also about that because
Mm.
Yeah.
when you like a track, at once you're like, whoa, 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 what's this? I need to write this down where this is, or like put
Yeah.
in
Or
my
clip it or
notes.
something.
And you don't
Yeah.
have
And
to.
it
It
actually
just comes
needs to
up, and
happen a little bit unconsciously because if you're
yeah, yeah,
sitting down and just listening to
yeah,
music, yeah,
exactly.
you're gonna hear all sorts of shit that actually don't matter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's
But if
why
you're working
Okay.
also
out and you go like, "Ooh, man,
producers bounce your own tracks and listen to them whilst doing something else, maybe driving or. But the gym is a perfect one because you'll sometimes you're lifting weights and you have your track and I'm sometimes annoyed at my arrangement. I'm like, no, no, this needs to be longer and this needs to be shorter and
I'm actually annoyed at your arrangement."
exactly. Even Ralph, and that's probably when he's working out, he's checking it out. And he's like,
Well, it's
Jay,
when I
man, you
check
don't
most
make
tracks,
it.
and actually I have some tracks that I do that I re-listen all the time of my own, and that's then I know like okay, I really like this, and it's also something because you have tracks that you're actually hyped about,
Yeah,
but when
Yeah.
you don't revisit them all the time in the gym, and
it's
there's something at
it's
all, you know?
also very dangerous when it's like the first draft ish version, because then you tend to sometimes keep listening to too much, and then you need to
Yeah,
really like let that idea kind of go and work on
dude,
it, and that's
it's
sometimes
the
scary.
demo syndrome.
Good
Then you will
because you
never
Yeah,
get
like
used
another
to.
version of
demo
that track
syndrome.
anymore.
That's a great
Yeah.
term. Demo
Yeah.
Great
syndrome.
term. Yeah. Hey guys, we have a packed schedule, so we'll continue with.
Clip of the
Oh,
week.
As
Yeah,
always, we
we just
have
sorry.
clips that you can send in into our Discord every week. We will pick one clip that we will discuss. And this week we had a send in from Russ the rapper. Can you
Russ
see
the
my
Rapper.
screen?
The one. It's not because that person didn't post it. It's not because the label didn't spend money on it. That's not why this song didn't blow up. It's because the song isn't the one. Like 315 was just week 3 of when I did 21 weeks in a row in 2021. That was just week 3. I dropped 18 more after that. This is kind of why I did my approach of a song a week and why I still just throw so much shit at the wall. I'm not going to waste bandwidth and energy and get attached to like this song needing to be the hit. I'm just going to put all this shit out, and y'all will tell me based off of the streams which one is the one. And then I'll go do a video to that, and I'll take that to radio, and I'll do campaigns and da-da-da-da, or I won't.
Do you ever feel disappointed when?
Yeah, all the time. Oh my God. That's also like, because I put out so much music, I do have a pretty good relationship with the songs from an emotional level. So
Okay.
Okay,
Yes,
so
I like this voice, man. He
yeah,
sounds
it's a cool
great.
voice, man. What's your take on this? As in, he just puts out as much music as possible, and he used to do this thing. I think it was 21 weeks or something, where he put out 21 songs every, like one song every week. What is your take on this? As in releasing as much music as possible.
Who are you asking, man?
This is
Both.
yeah. Well,
Okay.
I think this goes if you're a certain level producer, then it's good to release as much as possible. I think Ralph could easily make a song a week work if you only focus on that song. Let's say you could make that work. But if you're really beginning, I don't know if as much as you can is the right approach, but just focus on a song and finish it and then release it. But yeah, for a
Yeah.
certain level, I can see okay as much as possible. But like he said as well, he is emotionally attached to those songs, so he's actually put in all the work in all those songs. So
You know,
be careful
eh,
with like be careful with the quantity over quality because it still needs to meet a certain quality standard. That's what I'll
oh, that's
say.
definitely true. And also, I don't think we need to take his challenge too literally. But what I do think has changed from before is that we used to put out teasers or play a track quite some times before releasing it. But I think that has kind of changed. Yes, you still need the IDs, something that's unreleased and like how do you say it? Nobody else can get it. Exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
And but on the other hand, shit can now grow nowadays on the internet. We noticed that also with a few records of ours that actually didn't do so well on the release date, but then started to grow because it's also because of the social media is so important. It's also nice that people, when they encounter it on social media, they can actually immediately find it because not
Mm-hmm.
everybody is willing to wait for those exclusives. That time has kind of passed. So I'm also a big advocate, like the guy said, is just to put shit out there. And but on the other hand, sometimes you also do need to work something maybe a little bit beforehand, getting some support, work on support. You don't get it so easily nowadays. Also, so kind of mixed. But I actually like what he said, and it's a good one to just put shit out there. But
Yeah,
I totally agree with Jobke.
true.
Quality control is so important.
Yeah.
So that's
Yep.
why putting shit out just regardless is never a good idea because you do need some extra pair of ears from somewhere, some kind of a um, validation from others that it's good enough to put out there.
Yeah, you need to be over way past Mount Stupid, and Mount Stupid is from the Dunning Kruger effect. Google that. It's where you just start something and you get a lot of confidence because you think you're really good. And then there's this point which they call Mount Stupid, where you realize because you've spent enough time on it how bad you actually still are. And then starts the real slow rebuild to new confidence. So like after that, so at the second kind of peak, you're allowed to, you kind of know what's good or like what
Yeah.
is
You have enough
quality.
experience.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I when I started and I was in high school, I was showing my music because I made it the day before. I just downloaded FL Studio and I was like, "Oh, this is amazing!" And I remember like, why doesn't anyone like this shit? And then years later, you revisit that old shit and you're like, that's why no one liked it because it
Yeah,
was
yeah,
garbage.
yeah, exactly.
So Dunning-Kruger effect. It's actually interesting, but yeah, get over Mount Stupid,
Man, stupid.
and then
Okay.
you're ready to roll.
Hey, quick break. If you're an artist who's serious about growing his career, but you feel stuck and you don't know what to do, you feel overwhelmed, that's exactly what we help you with at Artist Coaching. At Artist Coaching, we offer one-on-one personal coaching for DJs and music producers who want to turn their passion into a sustainable career. Whether you're struggling with finishing your music, building your brand, or just figuring out how to stand out, we've been there and we can help. If that sounds like you, head over to artistcoaching.nl and book your free intake call so we can check where you're at in your career and see if we can help you. All right, back to the episode. Community questions. Every week we take questions in our Discord where people can send any questions and we answer most of them in most cases. This week we have a question from Lion Harris. Question to all of you. It's a long one. I mostly produce music for other DJs, and most of the times the productions end up on sub-labels from Universal. Do you think there is a good chance or a smart way how I could introduce myself to the label and potentially start releasing there myself, even that I'm a smaller profile compared to guys that I produce for? The quality seems to be no issue anymore. Do you had similar encounters like this in the beginning of your career, or do you know somebody who built its way up by the situation I'm in at the moment?
Yeah, well, I don't get. He's on the contracts, right?
Yeah, that's what I wonder
Yeah.
as well.
I'm not sure.
Lion Harris, I don't know if you're on the contract, but you should be. Your name should
Yeah.
be there, even if it's like, I don't know if you get a cut or not, but in some way you should always demand being on the contract.
I mean, there must be an email chain between
Yeah.
the other artists and him, and somebody of Universal. Just ask them if they have some spare time to talk
Yeah.
about music stuff. Yeah, and if he gets like bought out of the whole thing, renegotiate your deal if the quality isn't the thing. Get some more points on the production and
Yeah.
get some royalties going. Then that would be the step. And gradually from there, try to get a certain relationship with the people over there.
Yeah.
I think overall the connection is the key here. As in, if you already are in the email chain or if you already know somebody at Universal through your Ghost Productions, then why not approach them? Because that person knows who you are. So why not approach that person? I guess that's the key here, but I'm not sure if that's possible.
Yeah, and otherwise, if your artist, like Ralph said, buys you out, ask them like, "Hey, I want to be either introduced to someone at Universal, or I want to be part of the record as well. Can we negotiate because you've done the records have done well?" You're always free to ask them to be
If
on the
they do
record
well,
points wise.
if they do well, then you should get an improved contract at some point.
He's in the
exactly.
live chat right now, and he says that the managers do a buyout most of the times externally before it releases.
Okay, then try to get some points next time and get
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah, get in the contract. Yeah. Maybe
And
lower
also the managers, just have a talk with them. See if you can like nuzzle out some information and I mean lie, manipulate, man. It's all good.
If they're trying to hold shit from you, like if they say like no we can't do that, then you know you're on a good.
Then
you're
they
on a
know
good,
they want to keep you small. And
they
then
want
you
to keep
still
small.
work for them, get paid, no problem there.
Yeah.
But you know you have to go on to the next thing. But never throw away an old shoe before you have a new one.
Hey, that's a very good one. Very
That's
good.
an old saying in Holland.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
classic for a reason.
Exactly.
Also, our own Martin Garrix had the same kind of situation. I won't go into the details. Was producing for other people, and the label found out, and he wasn't on the contracts. And then they called in Martin Garrix to see what he was all about, something like that. And the rest is history.
Okay. Next question from Midnight Surge. Question for everyone. Do you meditate? How do you deal with stress and anxiety, especially the day-to-day emotional weight we all carry? I'm curious about your practices and what helps you stay grounded.
I have a pool.
I have a pool.
I have no stress, man.
Oh, that's the best
Yeah,
answer ever. I
Wow, we
love that
clip this.
answer.
We're gonna
I
clip this.
think I think for everybody it's different, and we all tick in different ways. I think meditation can be very good for people, and I think for some it's gaming. Just make sure you can relax. It's a skill to being able to relax, and
Yeah.
yeah, where you get it from doesn't matter, but you need to know for yourself how you and your mind and body ticks. For me,
Health
it's the
is,
pool.
I think health, like physical health, is one of the most important things. Like, so working out, staying fit. I mean, I'm a diabetic, so directly every time I eat, I'm working on this. I'm trying, and I just noticed that when I'm working out, when I'm healthy, I'm so much more ready for challenges and whatnot. And the other thing, like, I tried, like, you try to balance everything out. You never can. So people that seem like they've got it all figured out, they don't. And that's where, if you can accept
Nope.
that, then you can manage that way easier, because you're like, oh well, this week has not gone to my previous plan. I need to fix this, and this. Oh, my kid
Mm.
is sick. This and that.
There's
And
always something.
yeah,
Yeah.
so health, I'd say, and get some kind of hobby that you can do, something that you don't have to think about anything. So like for me it's golf. But it's like if I play golf, my mind is just there. I'm not
I
concerned
thought
about
you
anything else.
sometimes make music to get your head out of golf, like to
Yeah,
so
well,
you
that
can.
doesn't work. If
Huh?
golf's in
Yeah.
my mind, I need to go do it, because otherwise I can't make music.
Yeah.
It's
But
a
I
it's a
think we have
disease.
somebody who knows a little bit more about
Yeah.
it than us,
I wanted
Jay.
I wanted to say, like me personally, I try to live a life where I don't have any stress. As in, of course, you always have stress because it's also a healthy thing, but not too much. As in, I live a low stressed life, and that's the way how I've built it personally. So I try to take stress at the source of things and not necessarily meditate because you are stressed, but like build a life that you won't even feel stressed at all. And what I can also really recommend people is take time to do nothing, because what Jay said, what he experienced with golfing, as in like really like focusing on something so much that you kind of forget about life for a second. I think it's also good to sometimes do nothing, like just wander, just walk, not listening to a podcast or something, like just let your brain go wherever it wants to
not
go.
listen to
Because
Joey.
yeah, because
It helps.
essentially that's what
I feel better.
meditation is as well, like sitting down and letting your brain go wherever it wants to go, and deciding on what you're going to give attention and what you're not going to give attention. But like simple things like that, having a stroll for like an hour without listening to a podcast or without listening to an audiobook can do magic.
Yeah.
So simple things like this are things that we forgot about because we all connected all day long and we want to be triggered all day long. But giving your mind some rest by simply strolling or something is already a,
Scrolling,
a great solution.
scrolling.
Yeah,
Strolling,
like
man.
this.
You sound so old, man.
I know.
And
I thought he
also,
said
Actually, I,
I mean,
I wrote I
scrolling.
wrote a
stress,
book about this.
stress, like you said before. I mean, stress. If you're pushing the limit, if you try to push the boundaries, you're gonna go over that limit. That's how you get to know
Exactly.
yourself. And a little bit of difficulty here and there, being way in over your head, gets to get to know yourself, especially when you're young. I mean, when you're old as Joey, I mean, he takes it a little bit different now. He's
Yep.
strolling and shit. But it's also good to just push and
I
see
Yeah.
think
where
See
it
how
gets
far
you,
I
but
can go.
try
what's
to
also
not go over the edge.
what's also very important, and I think Joey has done that in the biggest way possible, is like you have to not compare yourself to others or chase what they think you should want or something. So he, like, Joey had the dream job, and he was like, no, I don't want this. And then people probably told him like, hey man, why? It's such a good life. Why are
Mm.
you quitting? And then you have to really do it for yourself, and you have to compare
Hmm.
yourself to yourself instead of like to others. And like, that's something that's really hard, because the pressure is like, it's really hard to get
Yeah.
around that, because I think we're built to have status, and like, oh, you have a certain status, and if
We're
I
all
now go work at
crazy.
the supermarket, people will come up to me like, dude, weren't you a big shot DJ? And I have to then tell myself like how I don't care what that person thinks. But that's really hard.
The paradox of life is that we all work towards something that will probably kill us eventually. Because we all want to be extremely successful and extremely rich, all at the cost of losing what we actually need, which is a simple life with social connections, with deep connections, with a healthy body, with healthy food, with movement. And what most people do is only chase the success and the money and leveraging all the things that are actually important in their life. So yeah, that's why I've written that book, as in the boring life. I think that's the key to a lot of things. Like just making things boring, quote unquote, doesn't mean you still can't live a great life. It's just not for the outside world. As Jobke said, like I don't care what other people think, what I should do. I do what I want to do and what works for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the
That's what it
difficulty
is.
is
But
You
lies
can
in
still
that.
have a good haircut, Joey.
I just
I
went
mean-
today.
Oh, sorry.
I'm just sweating my balls off here.
Yeah,
So
but
as you
the
can
real
see,
the difficulty is
No, it's just fucking
this
around.
this is a difficulty with feelings and shit, because you
Ugh,
can tell yourself you don't care, but your whole system will tell you care. You then have to
Yeah.
tell yourself, no, I don't care. It's like I want to go to the gym, and your body says, no, 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 you don't want to go, but you have to tell you. That's the whole difficult thing. You will feel those things, and you
Yeah.
have to tell yourself and remind yourself no. And that's, if you can manage
Yeah.
that, that's the key to a boring life, a good boring
Or
life.
buy a pool,
And-
man.
and Midnight
Or buy a
Search,
pool.
if
Buy
buy
a
a
pool.
pool.
Easy.
They're actually pretty affordable nowadays.
I think that's subjective, but we'll see.
It's all relative,
Yeah.
I think.
Don't buy
but
such
for
an
Midnight-
expensive car. Just buy a
For
pool.
Midnight Search, if you want to go deeper on this topic, my book is already in the Discord. You can check it out if you want. It's free. It's in the Discord on the bottom of the menu. It's called Happy with the Boring Life. So feel free to check it out. Question for Ralph and Jobke from him. I heard Ralph and other DJs mention they cannot open all of their promo emails and they have to filter which emails to even open. What would you recommend to write in the subject of the email to increase chances of being opened by top DJs?
Right?
Oh,
Something
man.
like
Didn't we
if you
talk about
if you
this
go
last week?
statistically,
Yeah, we talked about it last week. Yeah, it's and I thought about it last week, and then I was a little bit more conscious when I opened. But we get so much emails; it's insane. And then I was a little bit more conscious about what I filter out.
it's like
I
the
think there's
best
no
answer
hack.
to literally answer your question is probably like, hey, you've been locked out of your banking account. Immediate action required. That's probably the best way to get them to open.
No,
That's a
I
joke, of
delete
course.
those right
What I
away.
would do,
Yeah,
what
but
I would do
last-
is just write promo, your name, the track, maybe the release date if you have
No,
one.
no, in the subject. I think just
the
the
subject, yeah.
title. The hard thing is though, if it's an original title,
Yeah, but promo.
yeah,
Promo, you have to
definitely
say
write promo,
Yeah.
and then what was the name again? Something something with something something.
him.
Yeah.
Him.
And also what kind of music it is. I think that's important.
Jay, didn't you say something last week about like adding in a subject where you guys met or something, or something personal?
If you met the person,
If you have
I
met,
always
yeah.
say, I always say like, hey, here's my email or my demo drop or whatever, and then I say, just say, hey, we met at the station or we met at the backstage there, because then I have a face to the name, and that's golden. That's always gonna be because I'm like, oh, that's that guy. Yeah, we talked a bit, and then I'm like, I'll listen to it.
But
And
it's
then I'll
only when
delete
you
it without
met.
responding because it's shit. But no.
You know, the hard thing is though, I mean, for a radio show, the odds to get played are a lot more. But in what we do, yeah, let's say you want to be in a Martin Garrix set, 80% is his own tracks. Then you have the 20%, and he's gonna listen earlier to people signed at Stamped, and they also get their placements. And then there's like 4% left for unknowns, and he's one that actually makes an effort to find new talent, and also to sign at Stamped, because he has done and still does quite a lot of that. but it kind of gives you the odds. They're slim. But yeah, if you make quality and you keep on sending it out, you will get noticed at some point.
Yeah. Quality
But you're
always pops
also
up.
actually you're also actually competing with people like us or even bigger because we all want to be in the sets of the bigger ones or the peers or even smaller ones. We're all fighting for those spots. So you have to be that good in quality, and actually it has to be really good, or else, yeah, why would you
You
somebody
probably
play
yeah,
it? Yeah,
you probably need like 5 really good tracks before you get noticed. Like, oh, this guy is like a really good producer or really unique. And I
yeah,
think that has become more difficult because I think 10, 15 years ago, one good track and people were like, "You're a good producer." But
Mhm.
now it's like you could be lucky. So it's like,
Yeah,
yeah.
true.
Although back then people were also labels were also wanting to hear more before they really signed you on. But
Yeah.
it's just more than
There's
any time now.
Here's some good news for Jay. A question from Mikey Foden. I saw that Teddy Swims is doing a remix contest. Would you guys ever consider doing a remix contest for your songs? Do you think they are worth pursuing as an aspiring producer?
no, it's always good if it's one of your favorite artists. Go for it. I would. I
Yeah,
actually just the
yeah.
other
Why not?
day there was another artist that send out on Instagram like, "Hey, here's the Dropbox links. I'm gonna listen to some demos whilst on the beach," and I send in 2 tracks. Never heard back.
But it's
Thank you,
does he
Chesto.
mean as
No, 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 not
producer
even Chesto. No,
hosting or as a producer participating in?
Participating?
participating like Teddy
Yeah.
Swims. Now, why
Because
wouldn't
he
you send
says
in your
as a
remix?
producer.
No,
Wait.
but like Teddy Swims is
Would
doing
you
a
ever
remix
consider
contest.
doing
You
remix
can send
contests
in
for your
yours.
songs? Would you ever
Yeah,
consider doing remix contests for your songs?
it's a two lagged question. As in, one is from would you do remix contest for your own songs, and two is do you think it's worth pursuing as aspiring producers?
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
pursuing as a producer for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
And he has a follow-up question. Also, Joey, how goes the book? Is version 19 the final? Planning on reading it over the coming days? Plus free chance for you to shill it. Now it's a question. Good point. Yeah, it's. I kind of think I still feel like it's ready. I still feel like 19 is the version. Maybe some minor changes here and there, but there might be a version 20, maybe a 21. But I kind of feel like that's it. So we'll see where that ends. Question from Alex Leray. Hey guys, I had a quick question. So I'm 17 years old and a major label, as in Sony, UMG, Warner, offered me a deal. And also a big dance label offered me a deal, but it's smaller. Which would you go with? That's a
Dude, we
tough
need more
question without
context.
details. Hmm?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
need more context.
exactly. Because it
I would
really depends on the details.
put the two options on a board, blindfold yourself, pick a
Throw
dart,
it
and
out.
just throw it. See what happens.
That's how we deal with
Yeah,
life.
we would need more context to advise you. I would also get that advice from people around you, other producers, maybe a lawyer, just to have some idea of, hey, is this contract fair? Is this
I'm not
deal
a
a good
lawyer, man.
opportunity?
They are shit.
Some lawyers are good lawyers.
No.
There's
Yeah,
this
my
one
wife,
Saul
but
Goodman. It's a really good one. I think he's
Saul
in
Goodman.
Albuquerque.
Oh man, I
Uh,
love that series. Have you ever
Saul
noticed
Goodman.
that a lot of the new series are just orange?
they are. Better Call Saul is one of them. It's a bit orangey.
That's
And
not.
Um,
Hey,
Medical
hey.
Soul
By the
was
way,
like genius.
Jay,
yes.
congratulations, man! Your track has been used by Bill Gates,
Hey.
dude.
Yep.
That is sick.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
He used it in a
I
reel.
missed something.
Bill Gates had a reel about some project he did for I don't exactly know, but it's some really good project. And
I don't even know.
they picked my music on Instagram, so that was pretty cool.
They picked
Oh,
the Egg Boy
Egg
track.
Boy, yeah,
that's really cool.
yeah, it was
Yeah,
pretty
that's
Mm.
awesome.
insane. Did
It's
Did you
like
notice
it's
any?
I think if you told me this 10 years ago, I would have been way more impressed. But that has to do with that it's it's not like they went, oh, we need that Egg Boy song. They just went through the songs on Instagram and like, hey, which one fits? So I'm still honored, but it's a bit different than it.
Dude, you have Bill Gates support, man.
Yeah, I know, but
That's
it's
Yeah.
different than
dude.
it's.
You've
I don't know.
been bashed
It's
by
cool.
Dead
It's awesome.
Mouse, and you have Bill Gates support. Like your year is
And
done.
I'm
Like
in a Hollywood movie with Ben Stiller with one of my tracks. So that's
no
also
way.
yeah. Night at the Museum 3, I think, or 2.
Oh really,
One of those. Yeah. Like
dude?
10 seconds.
You can die now.
No, I don't want to.
That's insane.
Still need to break 80 at least on the golf course. Golfers will get what I
Nah,
mean. So no
no
one that's
man.
listening will get what I mean.
I had
No,
a
probably not.
wedding at a golf course this weekend, which was a nice golf course, the Duke.
Oh yeah, I've been there. By the
Was
way,
it
I
nice?
haven't been.
I just golfing just looks boring,
Yeah.
sounds boring,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
That's what I
it
thought.
probably is. It would suit you pretty well, Joey. Thinking
I
of
have my
it.
golfing license, or how do you call it?
Yeah.
Like I have my.
Golf,
I'm.
it's the hardest game. It's you play against yourself and then you learn about yourself. It's really dude, it's
Man,
so
that's
deep.
every sport there is.
Nope, nope,
To
nope.
be honest,
Oh.
I liked it.
You always compete to someone else. Golf to yourself, and that's the
No man, I
your
wanted to
own
win.
worst competitor.
No, I
You're
was
your own
playing. I
worst.
was playing against other people. I wanted to win.
Yes, but
Yeah, of
the
course you
real
want to
game of
win.
golf is a game against yourself. If you can overcome yourself, you can be a great golfer. Once you get the technique down a little bit, I'd
Dude,
say
that's
90% a
every
mental game.
sport.
Nope,
That's
nope,
like
nope,
padel, football,
nope.
hockey
Padel against
probably. I
someone
never
else,
played
football
hockey,
against
but
someone else. There's so many influences that decide what happens where the ball goes, and you have to anticipate. Golf, it's you have only you to blame. Only you. This it's dude. It's so I can go on for hours about this, but yeah.
Okay.
anywho,
Is there anything to shill, guys?
is there anything to shill? Yeah, we have a pretty cool track coming up. I think you're freaky, and I really like it a lot.
Is that
And
from what's that band called?
the Antwoord.
The Antwoord, yeah.
Yeah, and it's a cover version, and
How
it's
old is
coming
that track?
out.
From which year?
It's old, man. Yeah, you were probably old already, but it's still old.
The Antwoord, and what's the?
I think you're freaky because when you do a full cover, you have to use the title that they use.
It's from.
The Antwoord, and it's
Yeah, but I'm
from
looking up the date. 13 years
2001.
ago.
13.
13 years ago, yeah.
Oh, that's not even that old. You were old then, dude.
Yeah, I was
I
in
didn't lie.
the.
No, but I
Yeah.
really like it, and it's grabbing some nice attention. I hope to hear it over the weekend. Promo mail out looked good, and it was a track I started working on maybe 1.5 years ago, and I completely changed it. And the first version is like way different than the last version.
More EDM
And
than the next one.
sorry?
Is the newer one is more like hard techno kind of.
No, no, no. It's just good shit. Yeah, that's what I call it. It's a new.
It's new genre. Good
Yeah.
shit.
I always have a hard time of boxing what I do or genre-wise, you know,
I can imagine.
because it's definitely not hard techno, and it's also not techno. I actually don't know. Let's call it hard dance. But I'm really glad it's coming out now. And then 2 weeks later, we have a remake of Wiggle. And of course, now it sounds like we only do remakes, but we just came off Rewind and
We
Hardcore Mofo that were originals. So we also still do that. And then now it's time for 2 cover versions. And then work up until our album. Yes, y'all.
When is that dropping?
Still not sure, but it's going to be somewhere in the fall. And I'm not sure. I'm always in doubt. It's a kill your darlings process.
Hmm.
Like which tracks are going to get on and which don't. But yeah, that's always a good thing. But it's hard to eliminate something that you actually really like, but you don't like. You have to be really like strict. Okay, this are we going for the best? Yes, then okay, this is not it. A lot of
Okay.
self-doubt. But I'm really happy with Freaky, and I think you all should. Oh, we're actually also
And I
doing.
think you like it a lot.
You will like it a lot. And also, we're gonna do a remake of Kids, and it is a cover version, but we're putting it out already. I think actually tomorrow on our SoundCloud as a free download, and it's cool. It's new. It's
Okay.
fresh. If you don't like it, you don't like dance music.
A remake from Kids?
Kids, management.
Du- du- du-
Dun,
Ah, that one.
dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun. Man,
Yeah.
you're so old, dude.
Why?
I don't know. Just
Yeah. I think when I think of that song, I think of Kid Sauce from
yeah,
Sebastian
because
Ingrosso,
you're
I guess.
such a fanboy. But yeah.
Such an EDM boy.
And what was
Yeah.
the original?
Probably Kids.
No, the original of Kids Sauce. They actually made another track first, and then they mixed the Kids melody on it. It's
That's
called
true. That's
Lactose.
Lactose. Yeah, true. Such banger.
That
Lactose.
was
Yeah.
actually a cool
It was a
one. But I
song
like
about
Kids
milk.
Sauce as well. But you know, Lactose didn't do so well, but with Kids melody. But yeah, that's the recognizability. I mean, yeah.
It's because a
Yeah.
lot of people were lactose intolerant.
Okay.
That's the end. Okay.
Hey, no. Hey, can I shill something?
Yeah, you can.
You kind of wasted it, but let's go.
Yeah. To be honest, yeah. No,
Yeah.
but I'm actually.
I have
Go
a
on.
song that I finished this week, and I will release it myself the end of this month, and I'm singing on it.
Mm.
So
And
yeah,
did you do
Can you
some
sing a little
auto-tune?
bit of the chorus line?
I will not because I did use autotune. But what's funny is I had first I written the lyrics, me and a friend who's also from Drunen, my hometown, and then we had AI sing it, which was cool, but it just really lacked the soul or like realness, and you can just tell like it's a bit like, and then you have to tell people, oh, who's the vocal? Yeah, it's AI, and it's kind of like eh. So I was like, maybe I can sing myself, and I think I did a pretty good job, but that's going to be up for
We'll be the judge of
all
that.
you critics
Yeah.
out there to decide. But more info soon, end of this month.
And
Okay.
is it a dance record? What are
Yeah.
you sure?
Yeah, dance, housey, dancey. It's a little bit Calvin Harrisy, a bit piano housey. So it's like I think
Okay,
for
you're
summer
being modest
perfect.
now. A bit Calvin
Um,
Harrisy.
A little bit
he
like
sampled me. Here. I also been sampled by Calvin Harris. I can Bill Gates, Deadmau5, Calvin Harris, collab with Martin Garrix. I mean, I'm the EDM. I'm the
you
EDM bingo
just
card.
You're the god.
you're the god. Yeah.
No, but
That's
he
it.
sampled me, so I can say whatever I want, comparing myself to him.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. We're gonna be the judge of that next week, maybe. When can we hear the song?
Soon.
Okay, soon. To everybody listening, don't forget to submit your clips for next week, or if you have questions, leave them in
Yeah.
the Discord. You can find the link in the description of this video or podcast episode that you're listening to. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel because we're approaching the 1,000 subscribers, people.
Whoa!
If
went
you
fast.
Go to
are
our Discord, discuss
yeah,
some
so
shit.
if you are a regular listener, please give us some love, subscribe, like, and share this with your friends. And also don't forget about the fact that we do personal coaching at Artist Coaching. So if you're stuck in your career and if you feel like you need some help from guys like us, go to artistcoaching.nl and check out the personal coaching program. Guys, I'll see you next week. Enjoy
Yay.
the
Bye.
hot temperatures. Bye-bye.